Did you know that thousands of jobs have just vanished in Australia and no one saw it coming? It's happening right now, and it's affecting people in ways you wouldn't expect. From sudden layoffs to entire industries disappearing overnight, the job market is shifting faster than ever. But the question is, why? This isn't just some temporary setback, it's a massive, long-term change. And what's causing this? Is it just automation and technology taking over, or is something deeper at play, like economic collapse or major policy shifts? We're diving into the 10 shocking reasons why jobs are disappearing in Australia, and some of these might surprise you. If you've ever wondered if your job is safe, or if the changes in the job market are something you should be worried about, you need to watch this. Stick around because what you learn today could completely change your perspective on the future of work in Australia. Number 1. Automation and AI replacing jobs. The rise of automation and artificial intelligence, AI, is rapidly transforming the workforce, and Australia is feeling the effects. In fact, millions of jobs are expected to be replaced by machines and algorithms in the next decade. According to a recent report, jobs in industries like retail, customer service, and transportation are among the hardest hit. These sectors are increasingly relying on AI for tasks like customer interactions, inventory management, and even delivery services. The question isn't whether it will happen, it already is. AI isn't just replacing low-skilled jobs, it's starting to take over higher-level roles too. From administrative tasks to complex decision-making processes, AI is becoming more capable every day. For instance, AI-powered chatbots are replacing customer service representatives, and self-checkout systems are cutting down the need for cashiers. In industries like finance and healthcare, AI is helping to analyze data and make decisions, reducing the need for human workers. While this technology offers efficiency, it also means fewer job opportunities for people who traditionally filled these roles. So, what does this mean for workers in Australia? If you're currently in a field that relies heavily on repetitive tasks or data analysis, you may want to start thinking about upskilling. The key to surviving this shift is to evolve with the technology. Learn to work alongside AI rather than compete against it. Fields like digital literacy, data analysis, and machine learning are in demand, and adapting to these changes could be the difference between being left behind and thriving in the new job market. Number 2. The shift to remote work. The COVID-19 pandemic revolutionized the way we work, and remote work is now a permanent fixture in the global job market. In Australia, this shift has had a profound impact on job opportunities, not just within the country, but globally. Businesses, especially in sectors like tech, marketing, and consulting, are now hiring talent from all over the world, opening the door for a more competitive job market. Workers in Australia are no longer just competing with locals. They're up against highly skilled professionals from countries with lower living costs and wages. This global talent pool means that companies are increasingly looking for workers who can offer specialized skills but at a more affordable rate. As a result, some industries in Australia are seeing a rise in job outsourcing, with businesses opting to hire international workers who can perform tasks remotely at a fraction of the cost. While this can benefit businesses, it leaves many Australian workers struggling to maintain their positions. The flexibility of remote work means that even jobs once considered local are now being outsourced to locations where the cost of living is cheaper. So, what can Australian workers do in response? Upgrading skills is crucial to staying competitive in this new job market. Professionals must adapt by building expertise in fields that are less likely to be outsourced, such as creative roles, project management, or specialized technical skills. Additionally, being adaptable and tech-savvy will help workers stand out in the remote work landscape. This shift is not just about finding a job, it's about staying relevant in a world that is increasingly interconnected and competitive. If you can learn to work well in a remote environment, you'll have an advantage that many others don't. Number 3. The decline of traditional retail.
Traditional retail in Australia is experiencing a rapid decline, and it's reshaping the job market in ways no one could have predicted. In recent years, shopping habits have drastically shifted, with more and more people opting for the convenience of online shopping rather than visiting physical stores. Major retail giants are closing down stores, and the rise of e-commerce giants like Amazon has further accelerated this trend. As a result, thousands of retail jobs, particularly in customer service and sales, have vanished, and many stores are slashing their workforce to stay afloat. The shift isn't just about consumer behavior, it's also driven by advancements in technology that make shopping online faster, easier, and more cost-effective. Automated warehouses, self-checkout systems, and virtual shopping assistants are making in-person jobs less necessary. Retailers are investing heavily in technology to keep up with the demand for online shopping, which means fewer workers are needed to maintain physical stores. The result is a rapidly shrinking sector for those seeking employment in traditional retail roles. So what's the future for those working in retail? While this might seem like bad news for job seekers, there are opportunities in industries that are adapting to the change. The e-commerce sector is booming, and companies need workers in areas like logistics, customer support, and digital marketing. For those in retail, it's time to pivot. If you're in retail, consider transferring your skills to the growing online sector, or even exploring roles in industries like supply chain management or tech support. The key to surviving this shift is flexibility, being open to new career paths that embrace the changing landscape of shopping and consumer behavior.
Number 4. Economic downturns. Economic downturns have a profound impact on the job market, and Australia is no stranger to these challenges. With inflation rising, cost of living expenses skyrocketing, and global economic pressures building, many businesses are facing financial strain. As companies struggle to stay profitable, layoffs become a more common response. In fact, recent economic shifts have already led to significant job losses, particularly in sectors that are most vulnerable to market fluctuations, such as manufacturing, construction, and hospitality. These industries are highly sensitive to changes in consumer demand, making them the first to experience job cuts during tough times. The effects of an economic downturn ripple throughout the entire job market, impacting not just the businesses that are directly affected, but also workers in other sectors. When companies cut back, there's less consumer spending, leading to further job losses in service-based industries. In Australia, we've seen this pattern play out as unemployment rates rise during economic slowdowns. The ripple effect is real, and many workers are feeling the pressure as opportunities shrink. It's no longer just about how businesses react to the economy, it's about how the entire system adjusts, often at the expense of jobs. So, how can workers protect themselves from the harsh realities of an economic downturn? The key is diversification. Workers in at-risk industries should explore alternative career paths that are less dependent on the economy's fluctuations. For example, jobs in healthcare, technology, and renewable energy tend to remain stable even during hard times. Additionally, building financial resilience, saving, investing, and being mindful of your career trajectory can help buffer against the worst impacts of an economic downturn. As the job market continues to evolve, staying adaptable and proactive is critical to weathering the storm.
Number 5. Industry restructuring. In today's fast-paced world, industries are constantly evolving, and restructuring is becoming an inevitable part of this change. Companies across Australia are rethinking their strategies, optimizing operations, and focusing on more profitable or future-proof areas. This often results in downsizing, restructuring, and even the complete elimination of entire departments. Industries such as energy, manufacturing, and finance have been significantly impacted by these changes, leading to a loss of jobs in roles that are now considered redundant or no longer viable in the new landscape. The restructuring trend isn't always a negative change for businesses. It often helps companies stay competitive by cutting costs and becoming more efficient. However, for employees, it can feel like the ground is constantly shifting beneath them. In Australia, many workers have been blindsided by restructuring initiatives that suddenly made their roles obsolete. For example, the Australian energy sector, which has been transitioning away from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources, has seen significant layoffs as companies adapt to a greener future. Similarly, traditional banking and finance roles are being replaced by digital platforms and AI-driven financial services, leading to job cuts in customer service, administration, and data entry. So, what can workers do to navigate industry restructuring? Staying flexible and willing to learn new skills is essential. While restructuring can be unsettling, it also opens the door to opportunities in emerging industries. For instance, workers in the energy sector can pivot to roles in renewable energy, while those in finance might explore positions in financial technology. The key to surviving and thriving during industry shifts is to remain proactive, seek out new skills, and be open to the opportunities that change brings. By doing so, workers can not only protect themselves from job losses, but also position themselves at the forefront of future industries. If you're finding this video helpful, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share how these changes are affecting you. We put a lot of effort into bringing you this content, so please subscribe. It's just one click, and it means the world to us.
Number 6. Outsourcing to lower-cost countries. Outsourcing has been a common business practice for years, but in recent times it's reaching new levels, particularly as companies look to cut costs. Australian businesses are increasingly turning to lower-cost countries to source labor, particularly in fields like IT, customer service, and manufacturing. This shift is driven by the rising costs of doing business domestically, combined with the ability to hire skilled workers in countries where wages are far lower. As a result, jobs that were once held by Australians are now being filled by workers in places like India, the Philippines, and other developing nations. This outsourcing trend is not just about saving money, it's also about increasing operational efficiency. By moving tasks like customer support, technical services, or even software development to countries where labor is cheaper, businesses can remain competitive on a global scale. However, this comes at a significant cost to local workers. As companies seek to reduce labor expenses, many Australian employees in roles that can be easily outsourced are finding themselves out of work. The impact on job security is profound, especially in industries that rely heavily on routine tasks or services that can be done remotely. So, how can Australian workers safeguard their positions in the face of outsourcing? The key is to specialize in roles that are harder to outsource. Skills in advanced technology, creative fields, or highly personalized services are in demand and are less likely to be moved abroad. Workers should also focus on roles that require local knowledge, or those that involve a high level of client interaction, where cultural and communication nuances are important. By positioning themselves in these areas, workers can ensure their skills remain relevant and valuable in an increasingly globalized job market. Number 7. Changes in consumer behavior. In recent years, consumer behavior has shifted dramatically, and businesses in Australia are struggling to keep up with these rapid changes. Consumers today are more eco-conscious, tech-savvy, and demanding than ever before. They expect instant gratification, personalized experiences, and are increasingly opting for sustainable and ethically produced products. As a result, industries that once thrived, like fast fashion, traditional retail, and single-use plastic products, are seeing a decline in demand. This shift in consumer preference has led to the closure of many businesses and the subsequent loss of jobs in these sectors. The impact of changing consumer behavior goes beyond just the types of products being purchased. It also affects how businesses operate. Companies are investing more heavily in online platforms, social media marketing, and sustainable practices to appeal to the modern consumer. This often leads to job losses in traditional sectors where businesses are unable to pivot fast enough. For example, workers in industries like traditional manufacturing or non-sustainable agriculture may find themselves out of work as companies move toward greener and more innovative solutions that align with consumer values. It's not just about shifting products, it's about the way businesses are structured and the kinds of skills they require.
So, how can workers adapt to these changes in consumer behavior? The key is to stay ahead of the trends and upskill in areas that are aligned with modern consumer demands. For example, skills in digital marketing, e-commerce, and sustainability practices are in high demand as businesses strive to keep pace with evolving consumer expectations. By learning to meet the needs of today's market, workers can secure jobs in industries that are future-proof and continue to grow as consumer priorities evolve. The ability to adapt to these changes will be crucial for career survival in an ever-changing economic landscape.
Number 8. Government policy changes. Government policies have a significant impact on the job market, and recent shifts in Australia's policies are leaving workers facing an uncertain future. Changes in taxation, employment laws, and funding for various sectors are reshaping industries, leading to job losses in certain areas. For example, recent cuts in government subsidies and support for certain public services have resulted in large-scale layoffs in education, healthcare, and social services. As the government adjusts its priorities, the job landscape is being dramatically altered, and many Australians are finding themselves without jobs they once thought were stable. In addition to direct job cuts, government policy changes are affecting the types of skills in demand. With a focus on technology, innovation, and sustainability, policies are driving industries to evolve. This can create new job opportunities in emerging fields, such as renewable energy and green technologies, but it can also leave workers in traditional roles like public administration or manufacturing without a place in the new economy. The rapid pace of policy-driven change means that workers must constantly stay updated on shifts in government priorities to avoid being left behind. To navigate these changes successfully, Australian workers must be proactive and adaptable. Continual learning and upskilling in areas that align with government initiatives will be crucial. For example, workers in sectors receiving government investment, like technology, education, and clean energy, should focus on building expertise in these areas. Moreover, staying informed about changes in government policies, especially those that impact employment and industry support, can give workers a competitive edge. The ability to align personal career goals with the evolving policy landscape is a powerful tool for job security in these times of constant change.
Number 9. Mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions are a major force reshaping the job market, and they're having a significant impact on employment in Australia. When companies merge or are acquired, it often leads to redundancies as businesses streamline operations and eliminate duplicated roles. For employees in industries where mergers are taking place, this can result in sudden job losses or the restructuring of entire departments. The pressure to consolidate operations often leads to job cuts in areas like administration, support services, and management, where positions overlap between the merging companies. The effects of M&A extend beyond just job cuts. They also create an atmosphere of uncertainty and fear for workers. Even employees who survive the initial rounds of layoffs often face shifts in company culture, new leadership, and changes to job responsibilities. These changes can leave workers feeling unsettled, especially when their roles are redefined or when they're asked to take on additional duties without additional compensation. For many, the merger or acquisition may mark the beginning of a more volatile career path as companies constantly evolve to integrate new operations. So, how can workers survive and thrive during these uncertain times? Adaptability and resilience are crucial. Employees should be prepared to take on new responsibilities and upskill in areas that can help them stand out in the newly merged organization. Networking within the company and staying connected with leadership can also help workers better understand the company's direction and the skills they need to remain valuable. It's also essential to stay proactive by exploring other career options, ensuring that you're not reliant on a single organization during such a period of change. By being adaptable and continuously developing new skills, workers can navigate the challenges posed by M&A and find new opportunities for growth, even in times of uncertainty.
Number 10. Rising costs of living. The rising cost of living in Australia is creating a ripple effect across the job market, and it's one of the key reasons why many jobs are disappearing. As the cost of housing, food, and utilities continues to climb, businesses are facing increased operating costs. For many companies, the easiest way to counteract these higher expenses is to reduce their workforce. This often means cutting back on staff or freezing hiring to maintain profitability, leading to job losses for thousands of workers. While inflation might affect everyone, it hits industries like hospitality, retail, and manufacturing especially hard, as these sectors often rely on a high volume of workers to keep operations running. The pressure of rising costs also affects businesses in terms of wages. Many companies are struggling to keep up with the growing demand for higher wages, which can lead them to automate jobs or reduce staff to avoid increasing labor costs. For workers, this creates a challenging environment where job security becomes more uncertain, especially for those in lower-wage positions. Industries with tight profit margins are more likely to make cuts in an attempt to stay competitive in the market, further pushing jobs out of reach for certain segments of the workforce. To weather this storm, it's essential for workers to diversify their skills and stay adaptable. Industries like healthcare, technology, and renewable energy tend to be less sensitive to cost of living pressures and are more likely to offer long-term job security. Workers should also focus on building financial resilience by saving, investing wisely, and staying informed about potential changes in the job market. The cost of living may continue to rise, but with the right skills and a strategic approach, workers can find stability in even the most challenging economic climates. In conclusion, the job market in Australia is undergoing a seismic shift, and thousands of jobs have already vanished, with many more at risk. The reasons behind this are complex, but they all point to the same reality. The world of work is changing at an unprecedented rate. From the rise of automation and AI to the shifting tides of consumer behavior, economic downturns, and government policy changes, it's clear that workers need to adapt if they want to stay relevant in this rapidly evolving landscape. But it's not all doom and gloom. While the challenges are real, they also bring opportunities. The key to surviving and thriving in the face of these changes lies in adaptability and continuous learning. Whether it's upskilling in technology, transitioning to emerging industries, or pivoting to remote work, the ability to be flexible and proactive will be the difference between securing a job or losing one. Workers who stay informed, develop new skills, and align their careers with future-proof industries like tech, healthcare, and renewable energy will be best positioned to weather these changes. Moreover, it's crucial to remain financially resilient and stay ahead of economic shifts. The world of work may be uncertain, but by being adaptable and taking control of your own career development, you can turn these challenges into opportunities. So, whether you're currently employed or looking for your next role, remember that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Keep learning, stay open-minded, and position yourself for success no matter what the future holds. The job market may be in flux, but your ability to navigate it is in your hands. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the changing job market? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. We put a lot of effort into creating these videos to keep you informed, so if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe. It's just one click, and it really helps us continue bringing valuable content your way. Thanks for your support.